Everything was a bit fuzzy when I came to. Blurs of white clouded my vision. What I finally focused on jolted me awake. A face was looking down on me, but not just any face. A face with fur. The furred face had bright blue eyes gazing down on me, a cat-like nose, long curly tan hair, fur, and an incredibly stretched grin. "Hi," the face said in a distinctively female voice. Naturally, I screamed my ass off. I leapt to my feet and quickly got as far away from the thing as I could. The thing was startled, and I finally got a good look at it. She was definitely a woman, covered from head to toe in thick fur, the same tan color as her face. She was wearing a white tank top and strange pants I had never seen before. They were like sweats, but almost holographic. The multiple colors seemed to jump off her legs. I also noticed she had a large bushy tail curled up behind her. She almost looked like a giant squirrel. "Get away from me!" I screamed, making sure to keep my distance. "Relax," she said soothingly. "I'm not gonna hurt you." "Bullshit!" I shot back. "Get away from me." She didn't give up. "Look, just give me a chance to explain." "I'm not giving you anything, freak." Hell of a way to greet my future best friend. Spotting an open door behind her, I bolted. I ran down long white hallways for what seemed like ages, trying to get as much distance from her as I could. When I ran through an open door at the end of one hallway, I stopped dead. I was standing in the biggest room I had ever seen. The ceiling had to be at least 40 feet off the ground. The rest of the room was beautiful, to say the least. From the white walls to the long half-circle couch facing the biggest flat screen ever, it was a living room to end all living rooms. I could go on for a whole book about how beautiful it was. As I marveled at the flower-like contraptions that were scattered across the room, I literally stumbled into a man, probably my age, with thick brown hair, carrying a strange device. He looked at me in shock, then babbled a bit. I'm sorry, I didn't..." He never finished his sentence because I thrust my arms around him, screaming, "Oh, thank God, a real person!" I had half a mind to kiss him and beg him for sweet love. "You have to help me. There's a monster back there, and, excuse me." I whipped around. The monster was standing right there, still grinning. "This monster has a name." She extended her hand. "Hi, I'm Shiara." I merely stared at her. I began to back away. "You stay away from me." I backed into something. "Have you ever seen District 9? It's a great movie. IMDb voted it the 132nd best movie ever made. Aliens land on Earth and are exiled to the slums. If you have seen the movie, then that's what I saw when I turned around. If you haven't seen the movie, then I was looking at a giant bug thing. It was about 7 feet tall and was covered in a rough carapace. It had 2 antennae, and instead of a mouth, it had a bunch of weird-looking tentacles. A pair of goggles sat on its forehead. I didn't scream when I saw it. After all, I had seen the movie, so I was used to the sight. I just stared at it in terror. Its tentacles moved and it made weird clicking noises. "Is Christopher Johnson trying to talk to me?" I managed to get out. "Oh right, I forgot," I heard the only human say, and before I knew it, he had shoved a cold metal device in my ear. There was a click, and I felt a horrible stinging pierce my ear. It felt like it went straight through my brain. I turned to the man, prepared to give him what for. "What did you do to me?" I snapped. An unfamiliar voice answered my question. "He implanted a highly advanced microchip into your brain that takes all foreign languages and translates them into one you'll understand. In your case, English." I whipped back around. Christopher Johnson was the one talking. "I'm Jackson, by the way." He also extended his hand, and I didn't take it. "And I'm Matt," the human said. "Sorry for sneaking up on you. It's just that chip is something you'll need." I noticed a small device in his hand that looked like a gun. I instantly realized this is what he shoved in my ear. I looked at all the strange faces focusing on me. What the hell is going on? Where am I? They all looked nervously at each other. Matt sighed. "Well, there's really no easy way to say this. You're on a spaceship." I stared. "A spaceship?" "Class E's Iranian luxury craft. Registration 2271994. The Stellar," Matt recited. I took all this in. I pointed at Shiara and Jackson. "Then you guys are..." I gulped. "Aliens?" Shiara perked up. "I'm from Karkora," she said proudly. I froze. I was talking to aliens. I had no idea what was going on, but I wasn't keen to find out. "I want to go home," I moaned. "Home? Earth?" Everyone's faces fell. Matt looked at me heavy-handedly. "Valerie," he said somberly. "Earth's gone." I scoffed. "What do you mean, gone?" Matt gave me a penetrating look. "Think about it. Why else would you be on a spaceship?" I tried to process this. I chuckled. "No, it can't be gone. It's a planet. How can..." I trailed off. I remembered the last thing I saw before I evaporated. Earth. Everything being destroyed around me. "No, it can't be," I stammered. Matt sighed again. "An alien terrorist named Zanaro destroyed it and everything on it. I'm so sorry, Valerie." I looked at Matt. "Jen, my parents, everything's gone?" Matt nodded sadly. Right then I couldn't take it anymore. I started crying. I hurled myself into Matt's arms and continued to bawl. I cried and cried and cried. Jackson and Shiara just watched sadly. Finally, I pulled myself away from Matt's comforting shoulders. I tried to wipe my eyes clean, not realizing I wasn't done crying. There was nothing you could have done?" I managed to get out. "We saved you, didn't we?" Matt said. "Just me? No one else made it off?" Jackson turned to me. "Our teleporter only accommodates one person at a time. You were all we could save." I blinked. "Why me?" I asked. "We just picked you at random. Try not to be biased," Matt said. I took another look at the beautiful room. The fact that I was on a spaceship hit me like a ton of bricks, but didn't want to deal with that right now. Is there some place I can be alone? Jackson nodded. We have a spare room we can stay in. I'll show you. He headed to a staircase, and I lazily followed him. There was a long row of circular doors, and led me to the third one. Next to the door, there was a pad. Jackson pressed a few buttons next to it and turned to me. Put your hand on there. I hesitated before I pressed my hand to the pad. It lit up, and my hand started to tingle before it stopped and the door slid open. Jackson ushered me in. Now this door won't open for anyone but you, he explained. I nodded faintly as I studied the room. There was a large, beautiful bed that I wished I could bury myself in. To the left was another door, which I assumed, correctly as I would later find out, led to the bathroom. Thanks, I muttered, not even looking at him. Hey, Valerie, I corrected him. I just wanted to let you know we'll try to make this as easy as we can for you. Then he left, the door closing behind him. I strode to the bed, kicked off my boots, buried myself in the sheets, and cried myself to sleep.